Hi, this is Elliott Wave Sage. I'm going to go ahead and do a market update. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. So, from an RSI standpoint, the SPY could be in this 1-2 pattern that I have here, and obviously that's not a good looking wave. More classical Elliott Wave label for this is something like that, right? 5 waves, or something a little more bearish, right? Like this. So I don't like this label unless this is an ABC of some kind here. If you put it there, then you have 3 waves and you don't really have an impulse. So we have to you can either go with this count, or you can go with another count that looks something like this, down, which is probably the more accurate count at the moment for the SPY. So I'll go with this, but I do need to keep in mind a more bearish count could exist out there. So the target area based on this would be 398 to 384. I believe that's where we're heading ultimately in this Y wave. But as you know, this leg had a nice little healthy bounce, but it failed. So we should see a similar bounce and a failure. My guess is the bounce will backtest this trend line when it's ready to go. So we should be finishing this A wave soon, get this backtest, and then come back down. So that's what I'm looking for now. That's what and the reason I don't like the 5 waves, because we closed under the trend line. Now, if we could retake 417, 416 and a half, then the 5 wave count comes into play, and we should rally all the way back up to 440. We do have some bearish divergence to support the 5th wave, but if tomorrow we erase that divergence, then I think it's clear that we're not in a 5th wave here, as you can see. So tomorrow is do or die time for the bulls. This candle, like I said, is not good. All that happened was a back test of the trend line, and now we got rejected and closed below it. And if you're wondering what is this trend line I keep talking about, it's the one here that connects the March low, March 2020 low, with the October low, with the March low. And so that channel is now broke. If that broke, that means this bullish cycle is officially over, and we've entered this type of pattern. So right now we'll call it WXY. I believe you do have a dip buy opportunity in this area I have colored here for long positions, and time to go shopping in the market would be here for mega cap tech and the triple bull ETFs. This is where I would be shopping and going shopping. Now, if it does turn out to be a 1-2-1-2, we will probably break through 382 and 373, and that would take us all the way to 324. So there is risk by going shopping early. If this is the pattern that I have here, then we would get a whole nother leg up before we need to worry about a greater decline. But anyway, so this is now a very dangerous setup, and I do believe we'll be still going lower, grinding lower, and I think it's kind of right now, based on what I'm seeing, I don't have a major breakdown to show that we're heading straight down for 323, but I do think we go lower, and we'll see how this plays out, where we end up when we go down here, where the momentum is. But for now, I'll just label it like this. But I can tell you that this can end up in 2 different ways. But I think breaking this is kind of bearish unless we can get above 417 again. So this is kind of how I'm looking at the market right now. And it's clear within this wave, we have a 1 here, a 2, and now we're in the wave 3 of wave A of Y. So why I don't like labeling this 3 and a 4 here is we don't have any gap separation. Typically in wave 3 we'll have a gap and run, and we don't really have that. I mean, I want to see a gap down in the morning like real panic. So really, until then, I think you also are in danger that we haven't seen the real wave 3 yet, because we haven't got that gap open in morning and just flush. That's a characteristic of a wave 3. So I still think you have to be careful that this Y wave could extend, and you still have to think the bear case is still valid for the 1212 because we haven't seen that moment yet. So just keep that in mind if you're trading. That's why I don't like shopping for anything until we're here. Here it's kind of like I'd rather look for short opportunities that present itself on rallies, and perhaps you get this fifth wave tomorrow here, and then get another one too, right? And so maybe, and then that may set us up for next week, you know, for the massive meltdown. So here is what we may see in the next several trading sessions, something like this that I have shown here, right there, and then meltdown, the real gap down and raw flush. So just keep that in mind, that this is a strong possibility of how trading could play out, and also trap a lot of people on this too when it comes, if I'm looking at this the right way. All right, Dow Jones, it tried its hardest to stay on the trend line, as you can see, but the bears finally won here. And again, this trend line connects the March low with the October low, and we found massive bounce here, but this time it tried its hardest and it broke down, and we closed below not just the trend line, but this overhead supply cluster. So this really does set us up nicely for a decline to 31,002 for a next opportunity to start to look and go shopping in the Dow area. But we need to, again, watch it, because it could do a flush down to the final lows in this area to end the bear market overall. So we have to just keep an eye on things, but I think right now the Dow looks a little more bearish at the moment. Here, 1, 2, you know, and I look at this as a 3, 4, 5. Here, let's see. Let's take a look at what we've got going on here. So you got a lot of RSI reset in this too here. Again, I look at it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an ABC, and a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably the same to sync it up with the other indices, something like this. And then we come back up, and then we get back test and get a massive rejection. So this would be a great short setup opportunity if this actually plays out. If we get this too, and we do come back and back test this, I would love to take a short trade on something like this if it happens. And I think there's a good chance that that's going to happen. We're going to get maybe another low, a marginal new low with a rally, and then some kind of back test of that, of this, and then you play this for this rejection. That's what I'm thinking, but you have to do what's best for you, of course, because I can be wrong. So I do have this labeled here as a 1, 2. Again, it could be something more bearish as a 1, 2, 1, 2. It could be a 1, 2, 3, 4. I have it labeled this way because the RSI reset that occurred here, right here, it reset the RSI. So I do think it's not. I think this is a new cycle, and we do have a little bit of divergence in this cluster. So we could have had our 4 and 5 right there. So again, that's why sometimes Elliott waves are not perfect in symmetry. But I will go with the RSI on this one. I'll lean more toward it. But the other alternative, of course, is something like this here. And then we come down to this 31,000, and we bounce to new highs to fail again much later. You know, so we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. But if this is why we need to finish an impulse down, this impulse has to finish here, bounce and fail. A, B, C, just kind of like we had here. A, B, C. So we need A, B, C. So we'll see how this goes down. And again, I'm just speculating, but I don't think there's any really good trade in the indices anymore at the moment. I think it's, if you're not in any trade at the moment, I think it's sidelines. And you know, we may have already had our back test here. We may not get this. We may be set up for the flush tomorrow. Something may happen tonight. So we just don't know. But I think, again, it's very bearish. Triple Qs broke. Some support, and the next area is 340, and I still think we'll head to 330, 322 when it's all said and done. This looks like a really nice extension here, so I definitely think this is definitely a wave 3, but I don't know if it's the wave 3. It is a wave 3 of maybe this this impulse here, and then perhaps we get a bigger bounce, but perhaps that's just another 1-2. Right, so keep that in mind, that we may get something like this, and then it retraces up, and then you get a real wave 3 with some capitulation to get us down into these this target area that I have highlighted here. And again, a lot of combinations. This could also be a WXY, just like I have here. And I'll probably just leave it labeled like that. I think that's how I'll label the correction for now until we have evidence to believe it's something different. So I'm going to call this just a WXY correction. And I like to buy and go long in these areas. So the SQQ at 335 in this area to 320. I like the SPY. I like going long here at 398 to 384. And the Dow Jones, I like going long at 31,002 in this area. So that's what I'll be waiting for. And then I would not recommend short trades at that point anymore, assuming the RSI has been erased on the daily time frame. IWM, again, massive support area. This is even stronger support. It wouldn't surprise me to see a relief rally here where you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where this is actually 1, and you get some kind of 2 that really gets people excited again before you get, again, the gap down and push lower, the flush. So choppiness. Now, this sideways action could be a triangle, which also would indicate it's a 4-wave. So if that is a 4-wave, then I would label it like a 3, 4, 5 here, you know, and then get a much bigger relief rally in another 1, 2. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. If we still chop around like this, and I think we're in this count, and then we'll bounce and head back up here. All right, so here it is. So that's the setup on IWM. And again, you got the trend line, but this is the real one here. This October, the low. So we'll see how this goes tomorrow. But when would I start labeling these threes is when I get a gap open in the morning and we flush a little lower. It doesn't have to be big, but we need a gap. We need a gap, and we need to close with the gap without it being filled. And then I know our first wave 3 is set. Until then, it's just all these 1, 2s, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm really looking for a gap, a flush, and we just not getting it because the sentiment, everyone's so bearish. It's so oversold. But ask yourself, how many people that you follow with a lot of followers are telling you, what are they telling you? Go long calls into earnings? Are they buying the dip? Are they looking for long plays? Or are they looking for short plays? Are they looking to sell? I would say most people I'm following, the pro traders, the ones that have big followings that charge money to listen to their advice, they're actually buying calls and still. So until those folks all flip bearish, we're still going to grind lower because that's what the market does. It destroys both sides. And the bears already got destroyed earlier this year. That's now the bulls' turn. And so I just think it's kind of funny to see the sentiment still so bullish from the pro trader community, and the reluctance to believe and deny that what's happening to the situation. I mean, they had been bullish here. Buy calls, buy calls, buy calls, no, buy calls, buy the dip. And look where we are. I mean, maybe they've made money, but I can tell you I've made a lot more money shorting, and a lot of my nights I haven't been stressed. So I worry that the sentiment is still too bullish, except for a few folks. There are a few that are calling the alarm bells. They're not. It's not just me this time. It's just there are a few, but not as many as you think. And until I start hearing these self-proclaimed pro traders start to give you short setups and say short Amazon, short this, short that, then I know where we're still a long way to go. And I have a feeling when we're trading down at 385, I'm going to hear a lot of that, and then I'll probably be one of the few saying to buy the dip. That's how it works. So that's what I'm looking for, guys. So I do think there's still too much bullishness out there. I still think you should think about who you follow and what advice you're getting. If the same people have been saying to go long in these areas, you ask yourself, why were they saying that? Because it was pretty obvious just using a couple simple indicators and chart patterns that it wasn't. And now here we are. We're lower. And the sad thing is we're probably going even lower than we are right now, given how we closed. The only hope for a bigger relief rally is if we do have a 5-wave move, but that will eventually fail too, and that would be a short opportunity, but on a daily time frame, so it would take a while to set up again. But it'll be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this structure does not lend itself to that pattern at the moment. If we do morph into that, then the rally should come back up to 440, but that would be a rally to short once again. So that's but I don't think it's a 5 based on what I'm seeing right now. But do what's best for you. But I do think if you could get over 417 again and close above it, then the case for a 5 becomes much stronger. But below it, below where we are now, the bears are in control, and you could have a 3 of 3 moment. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not Monday, but definitely sometime next week. Maybe we'll have a crash on Halloween massacre, right? You know, a real horrible day. That's what this is almost looking like. We get here around Tuesday, so we'll see how this plays out. All right, so that's 18 minutes in my video. Bitcoin is struggling at this resistance. It'll be very interesting if it can prove everyone wrong and negate my flat idea. But it is having some challenges. Oil hanging out on a support area. I do expect it to go lower. It's in a 1-2 moment, so it should be pushing lower to 73. Nat gas took a pop. Was mentioning this earlier, and then oil here didn't quite get to our buy area again because it's really bullish. So now oil is taken off. Will be interesting to see how oil trades tomorrow. The 10-year, how's that doing? As long as we're still above 4.8, it's bearish for the market. And we could be in another 1-2, something like that. Now, if we can come back under 4.8, then we're in this 2, but more than likely we're in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a much bigger decline, and that would actually be bullish for the market, and that could support the wave 5 idea that we are in a 5th wave in the indices and could see a bigger relief rally to 440 is something I would think about here. A lot of people would say, well, hey, this was really bearish. The treasuries rallied, uh, and the stocks were red, pretty red today. I think it could have been a lot worse. And actually, the Russell closed green, right? So I think you've got to be careful reading into this move. I think instead of seeing red and thinking, okay, this was good risk off, I think you could say, well, it could have been a lot worse up here if it wasn't for this pullback. And so when these two sync up, when this does rip higher, which I have shown in this 3 of 3, that will be perfect timing for the stock market 3 of 3 down that I still think has not happened yet. I believe both events happen at the same time on the same day, and that's why there's nowhere to hide but cash or short. And here's your dollar index, and it's clear the dollar index is now starting to make its next move higher. And that could really be your 3 of 3 as well, as this third wave takes into shape. 1 swing, 2 swings, third swing, risk off swing. So just be careful. VIX is closed in the bearish area. We did not close below 19.5. So in this area, there's still a chance for continued grinds higher. Here, this could be another 1-2. Here, like the rest of the stock market, has not seen its 3 of 3, where the VIX just goes crazy high. The opportunity, if we are in a wave 5, I believe if this is a wave 5, then the VIX will pull back. And if we are going to do wave 5 and go to 440, we should see the VIX pull back down into this area. And so we keep an eye on that as a clue if we're going to get that wave 5 or not. So a couple ways to kind of judge that. If we fall below 19.5, if we go below 4.8 on the 10-year, if we also have over 417 on the SPY, if those three things happen, then we may be finishing a wave 5, and then we could be getting a much bigger relief rally coming to potentially 440 before would be another great opportunity to short again. If we don't get that, the 1-2, 1-2 counts are still alive, and as of tonight, those bearish counts are still alive and well. So that's why I would not be FOMOing into any long positions or trying to anticipate a fifth wave finishing up. Then I think that's all I want to say on the main markets. I always like to go through technology. So where we are with the big mega cap tech, Apple broke down nice here. Perfect short area, nailed it. Puke. Where is it going to go now? I don't like this double spike here. It's hard to really find the target. So I rather just leave it alone. But I do think the bears are in control. It's got earnings coming up. I just kind of be on the sidelines. This could actually have a massive meltdown after earnings, given the what I'm seeing here. But do what's best for you. There's too many possibilities. I would definitely sit Apple earnings out if I was having to do it. Had Amazon here. Here's our box, 111, 100. This is the area should bounce. If we can get there, this will probably be right around those other areas I showed on the indices earlier, if we get there. Google is in a buy area for this ABC. This looks like it's a little too soon, but I do think it should have some kind of bounce here, but I believe that bounce will fail because it just doesn't seem synced up with the rest of the indices at the moment. So I do think it will do something like that. So I'll be looking for something like that now. Tesla still needs to push lower, looking for 180, somewhere down here, 180. Like I've been saying, NVIDIA finally broke the neckline. Not only broke it, it back tested and got rejected. Look at that, boom, very bearish. It's set up for a massive waterfall sell-off. The semiconductors are not looking good right now, guys. Something really, when I was looking at the semiconductor charts, SOXS, SOXL, it looks really bad. So I think there's some really bad news that's about to drop with the semiconductors that's going to really hurt them. I would be really careful. I don't know what that news is going to be, but it's really they're not looking good. Microsoft looks like it just missed our short area by a couple bucks, and then that's all she wrote. Microsoft should succumb to the bearish pressure of the market as well. And Adobe's finally topping out like we have here. Like I say, IONQ, I would like to get this down in this area on my list. Palantir still got to go lower. Let's take a look. Shopify melting down, puking down, but a lot more to go. Wayfair getting close. You can see this congestion here. Perhaps it can go a little bit lower. So not going to FOMO into it yet, but I don't want to be too picky with my entry either. It's got earnings coming up on November 1st here. So we'll see where it's trading pre-earnings and go from there. What else caught my eye today? Yeah, you know, we saw a pretty big meltdown after hours with Enphase. And again, all these traders are like, go long this. They're in complete shock. But if you followed me, we're not in shock. So we have the buy at $75.62 to $38. As you can see, we're in the 3 of 3. So it's still got more downside. I would probably wait and not buy it at 75. I would probably wait and buy it around 56, 57, 58, somewhere around there. That's probably the right place to buy it if you have to go long this for some reason. So the other thing I noticed is JD hit my buy area today. We had this at 24. It's got earnings coming up on the 17th. Keep an eye on this opportunity. Just keep an eye on it. I'm not ready yet to try it, to get this pump here, but I think it is due a pump, maybe a little bit lower, but this could be an opportunity for a trade here, and a 3-leg move and a bounce. So just keep an eye on that. And what's going on with healthcare? Okay, what's going on with healthcare? Yeah, IBRX, I think they resubmitted their BLA. I saw that. You know, it's really interesting. It's been staying supported in the buy area the whole time. I don't like trading this speculative biotech, but you know, we'll see. I think yeah, just resubmit it. Yeah, resubmitted its application. So if it does and gets approved, I'll go a lot higher. And looking at red, a lot of red today. Mention Weight Watchers on your shopping list. Keep that on your shopping list when the market melts down. So when do you want to go shopping? I think there's a lot of support here at 718, and this is probably around. This would be the area that it's time to go shopping. If you want to do this trade and hold it, just like natural gas, it's more of a longer term trade that it's going to take time to play out. But you have to do what's best for you. But I think this is an area where it should stay supported right around here. And we're getting close for this 3-wave correction. So I do have that marked. Keep an eye on that. mRNA has been getting really beat up. We got to watch out for divergence being erased here. If that happens, then it's pretty much lights out. It's so close. So I don't like buying it here because this could be another 1-2. Could be a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then we could have a meltdown to $54. And that's it for now. All right, so I'll just leave the video here. So like I said, I'm still more bearish to market based on how we closed today. The bulls have to recover a lot of technical levels in the next couple days to flip it and to make this a 5-wave move instead of what I have here as a WXY and a 1-2 move. So you're going to have to do what's best for you, but I wouldn't gamble below this line. But if you're above it, then you can put your stop, you know, at 412 and then try to play that pump. So there's some ways to play this, but right now it's really just if you've been short, you just kind of hang out and let the market stop you out. Maybe if we can close above 417, 418, that may be it with the VIX and everything else like I mentioned. But if we push lower tomorrow, and get this fifth wave, and then we rally back and back test. I think that's all that's happened. It's just games again, like we had up here, and we've had up here, and then eventually it'll fizzle out, and we'll get a meltdown next week. All right, guys, that's all I've got.